This is the reference booklet recap of the triangle guts, the median, the altitude, the perpendicular bisector, and the angle bisector, as well as their constructions. First off, a median. A median connects vertex to a midpoint. The medians of a triangle intersect at the centroid. So to construct a median, it is essential you find the midpoints. We're going to find the midpoints of these two sides. So to construct the midpoints, you put your pivot on one of the endpoints and you open just past what looks like the middle. And you do a large arcing sweep. And you go to the other side, don't change your compass setting. Large arcing sweep. You have 2 points of intersection. You line up those 2 points of intersection and put a tick mark right there, hatch mark, hatch mark. You have now drawn your first median, midpoint, vertex. That is your first median. Now we're going to find the midpoint here. Again, open up just past what looks like the midpoint. Sweep, sweep. You have 2 points of intersection. Line up those tick marks. Your second midpoint, vertex to midpoint. That is your centroid. And we learned that this segment, compared to this segment, from the vertex to the centroid, vertex to centroid is twice the measure of centroid to that midpoint. It's a 2-to-1 ratio. An altitude goes from a vertex to a right angle at the opposite side. The altitude of a triangle intersects at the orthocenter. So to construct the altitude, we're going to construct the altitude from this vertex to this side. This is a smiley, dimple, dimple. Construction, smiley, dimple, dimple. Let me show you what I mean. You open up, you plant your pivot on the vertex. Open up just past the opposite side, just a little past. Then you sweep a smiley. You have 2 points of intersection. I call those dimples, 2 points of intersection. You can change your compass length from this smiley and then coming here, but between the dimples, do not change your compass length. So plant, and then one dimple, sweep, other dimple, sweep. You line up this point of intersection with the vertex. Altitude creates a right angle. That's constructing an altitude. If I were to do another altitude from this point to this side, pivot on the vertex, straight across just past what looks like the opposite side, Sweep a smiley. And choke this up. Don't change the compass setting between the dimples. Dimple, dimple. Where that crosses, line it up. And you have another altitude. A perpendicular bisector is a segment which is both perpendicular and bisects a segment. The three perpendicular bisectors of a triangle intersect at the circumcenter. Perpendicular bisectors are the same construction as a midpoint, except instead of a point, you draw a segment. We're going to construct the perpendicular bisector of this side. Plant your pivot, open up just past what looks like the middle. Sweep. Don't change your compass setting. Your 2 points of intersection. Now, instead of a tick mark, you go ahead and you draw all the way through perpendicular bisector. It's a perpendicular bisector. Let's do the other side. We're going to do this one right here. Put your pivot on a corner and open up what just looks past the middle. Sweep. Other side. Sweep. You have 2 points of intersection here. Line it up very carefully. Perpendicular bisector. And that crosses at the circumcenter. Now, what's nice is you can test and see what's the significance of the circumcenter. Circum means around. The circumcenter is the center of the circle that can be drawn around a triangle. So if you plant your pivot on the circumcenter and then put it right there at the corner, it's easier if you twirl the paper than the compass. We're going to twirl it around. If you've done this accurately, it's going to go through all 3 corners of that triangle perfectly. I'm just a little off up here. Probably my compass saying slip there. So that's why it's called the circumcenter. Last one is the angle bisector. An angle bisector simply cuts an angle in half, exactly in half. The angle bisectors intersect at the incenter. This is a smiley dimple dimple construction. So I'm going to bisect this angle right here. Put your pivot on the corner. Doesn't matter how far it opens as long as it cuts across the 2 arms of the angle. Smiley. So we have 2 what I call dimples, which are points of intersection. Go up to 1. Dimple. Dimple. Line up that point of intersection with the vertex here. And you do not put hatch marks because this is not a midpoint. It bisects the angle. I'm going to bisect another angle. I'm just going to bisect this one over here. Start with a smiley. Go to 1 point of intersection. I call that the dimple. Smiley, dimple, dimple. Never erase your compass markings, even when they get overlapping a lot. Line it up. And you have yourself two angle bisectors. They meet at the in-center. Why is that called the in-center? Take your compass. You're going to put your pivot directly on the in-center, and then you're going to go as if it's an altitude. Touch your compass right here on the straight down. You're going for the side, not the corner this time. So you just want it touching the side. I'm going to twirl the paper again. If you've done this accurately, you're going to end up with a circle physically tangent to all three sides, perfectly inscribed inside the triangle.